In this week's Fresh Market Price Overview, we look at the latest price movements on the markets and look at where these prices can head as we approach the middle of the month, when we usually see lower demand on the markets. This and more in this week's episode, so make sure to stay tuned. Welcome to this week's AMT John Deere Fruit and Veg Overview, proudly brought to you by John Deere and Zimmatic by Lindsay. Remember to like and subscribe to these videos on our YouTube and Facebook channels. The latest Brent crude oil price has risen to $81.56 per barrel due to important US inflation figures being announced this week. However, it seems the Americans might keep interest rates sideways due to the better than expected employment figures that came out last week. This has also caused oil prices to rise slightly due to the better demand expected from the US. The rand weakened last week due to the political uncertainty we are currently experiencing. After the ANC announced a possible government of national unity, the rand strengthened slightly and is currently trading on 18 rand 73 per US dollar. The past week, the average national potato price increased to 64 rand 51 per 10 kg, with volumes about 7% higher. The large potato price traded on 70 rand 88, mediums on 62 rand 37, and smalls on 45 rand 42 per 10 kg. Mondials, however, traded lower on 63 rand 7 cents, Cifras traded higher on 69.59, and Lenormand on 60 rand 95, with the average price on the Joburg market on 65 rand 15 per 10 kg. Looking at expected price trends and seasonal movements, we are expecting these higher prices to persist during the remainder of June and July, with volumes delivered on the markets expected to stay on a lower level. But remember, we are now in the middle of the month, which could put pressure on demand and prices over the next week or two. The tomato price increased by 4% the past week to 10 rand 33 per kilogram, with volumes increasing by 8%. Large tomatoes traded lower on 10 rand 42, mediums higher on 10 rand 55, while small tomatoes also increased to 9 rand 40 per kilogram. The average tomato price stayed on a relatively high level when compared to the previous 4 seasons, but I still believe that prices will come under pressure over the next 2 weeks and then possibly stay on a lower level in July as well. Moving over to the carrot market, we saw the average price increasing by 3% last week to 5 rand 91 per kilogram, while large carrots traded on 6 rand 72, mediums on 4 rand 85, and smalls on 5 rand 14. The price is still significantly higher than the previous 3 seasons, but we are expecting significantly lower prices now, with the average price that can decrease to around the 4 rand mark and possibly stay there for the remainder of June and July. The average onion price increased to 92 rand 66 per 10 kg, with the brown onion price increasing to 89 rand. Red onions jumped to 172 rand per 10 kg and white onions on 100 rand per 10 kg. All size prices also increased, with large onions on 92, mediums on 96, and smalls on 80 rand per 10 kg. I, however, still think that this price will now decrease, especially since we are in the middle of the month at the moment, and this price can then stay on a lower level over the next 3 months. The average pepper price decreased to 8 rand 91 per kilogram, while green pepper prices increased to 6 rand 75, yellow peppers decreased to 13 rand 23, while red pepper prices traded about 11% lower on 12 rand 9 cents per kilogram. It looks like the average price can stay on a lower level for the remainder of this month, but we are expecting significantly higher or better prices during July and August again. Zimmatic by Lindsay offers fully integrated solutions to improve your operations, including leading pivot irrigation systems and the world's only cloud-based remote irrigation management tool. For more information and special offers, visit your nearest Zimmatic agent or contact Tanya directly on 082 853 0265. Looking at the other market prices, we saw cabbage prices decreasing to R3.83, while garlic prices increased again, trading 7% higher on R96.57, which is about 49% higher than a year ago. Garlic volumes are now about 20% lower than a year ago, and we last saw these high prices during COVID. Spinach prices increased to R4.93, while sweet potato prices increased to R5.63 per kilogram. The latest pumpkin price also increased, trading on R2.74 per kilogram last week. Moving over to the fruit markets, we saw the banana price increasing by about 10% to R7.50 per kilogram, which is about R135 per 18 kilogram box, with volumes decreasing by about 7% week on week. We are, however, expecting these prices to stay on a lower level during June and July due to higher expected volumes on the markets. The latest apple price decreased to R8.40, while pear prices traded slightly higher on R9.29 per kilogram. I think that both these prices can trend mostly sideways over the short term. The orange price stayed mostly sideways on R4.60 per kilogram the past week, and we are expecting volumes to stay on a higher level at least until August, which can keep this price around or just below the R5 mark until then. As expected, the avocado price increased by about 7% the past week to R14.14 per kilogram, with Vierdays trading higher on R17.77, Haas on R9.91 and Pinkertons on R14.83. We're still expecting avocado prices to increase during June, but the average price will likely remain around the R15 mark over this period. The average table grape price increased to R77.56, with volumes decreasing by about 17% week on week. During June and July, it is likely that this price can stay on and maintain these higher levels. The latest pineapple price, however, traded 16% lower on R10.58, while lemon prices decreased to R4.24 per kilogram. These videos are made possible by John Deere and Zimmatic by Lindsay. Feel free to visit our website at amtrends.co.za for more detailed reports, our latest prices and videos. I'm Dr. Johnny van der Merwe, and thank you for watching.